What's up, Huckleberries? Welcome to Thursday, May 8th edition of the Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture Show. Heading into the weekend. What's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot, man. Wolfing down some breakfast right now. We're going a little early today, so I'm running a little behind, but I'm excited for the show. Happy Thursday. Brooks has got his normal baseball bat going, like he's Sting from WCW.
What did you make for breakfast? And did you microwave it?
I did not. Well, I had some breakfast potatoes like left over. I did microwave those. I fried a couple eggs, and I realized that my cream cheese was not exactly good in the fridge. So after I had toasted my bagel, so I threw a little peanut butter, and I had a peanut butter and banana bagel, and little breakfast potatoes and some eggs. So yeah. Good stuff, but
Yeah, I also like that we all got dressed up today. Everyone's wearing a nice little golf polo, and the gentleman we're going to bring on here in a minute also wearing a nice little golf polo. So we're all fancy.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Are we all golfing today? We got a foursome.
Well, he said I was wearing a t-shirt, so I just got off camera real quick and just threw on a golf polo because I didn't want to be left out.
We can't class it up too much, guys. We should really what we got to wear all tuxedos. We can't be doing that shit.
Nah, tuxedos are kind of weird.
Maybe just a tuxedo shirt.
Tuxedo shirt.
But yeah, let's bring him in. Obviously, you guys have all seen the thumbnail. We got Bobby Trosset joining us from the Vault and Bobby Baltimore's YouTube channel as well. Go follow him over there. They have on, I mean, you name it. They get all the best guests and Ravens players on to talk some football. So without further ado, with the Ravens news that just came out with Justin Tucker, let's bring him on. What's going on, Bobby?
What's going on, fellas? Dusty, I'm glad that you put yourself on blast because I was going to be really wanted to share that pregame note of getting you so we could be a quad of golf poles because it's beautiful right now in the Baltimore area. I mean, there's not an ounce of humidity. I think you said you live in Ocean City, which makes me think about, and of course now the name is slipping my memory bank right now. But what's the freaking course out there in Ocean City? Name a couple of them for me.
Lighthouse, Rum Point.
We had my 30th birthday there last summer. That place is exceptional. So thank you for putting on thank you for completing our quad here today. And thank you guys for having me on.
It's a Thursday tea time, dude. It's a foursome. We got to get ready.
Yeah, Bobby, I know you're not familiar with the show, but this is probably one of the most laid back shows.
Oh yeah.
Probably in the YouTube sphere. I mean, for example, I'm gonna crack open a beer right now.
Yeah, baby. There you go.
There's the demonetization already.
We made it a minute. We made it 3 minutes. We made it 3 minutes.
10:11. It is, for those wondering, maybe on different time zones. On the East Coast here, it is 10:11 a.m. I have met Brooks in person once. It happened to be during the Combine this year, back in February in Indianapolis. You live on the outskirts, if I'm not mistaken, of downtown Indy. I did not take you for a 10 a.m. guy. There is zero judgment on my end, but yeah, I kind of gathered that, by the way, in the early part, in the early intro, that you guys might be a little lax. So we're going to fit in perfectly here. It's going to be good.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we like to have a good time.
We like to have a good time. I mean, for God's sakes, we did a hot guy draft. I mean, I took Jimmy Garoppolo with the second overall pick. I mean, come on, dude.
We were talking about reheating that draft too. We might have to get another hot guy draft going.
Well, I got a guy for you then, because I think this rookie Teddy Buchanan, the linebacker out of Cal, he's got a lot of Marcus Freeman in him. Notre Dame.
I like that.
These guys are just chiseled, absolute studs. So if you're redrafting, you may want to get Teddy and Coach Freeman in there as well.
I'm not trying to get Teddy not on your program, but I mean, have you ever seen the name Teddy spelled like this? I mean, that's just it's a bizarro way of spelling.
As the kids say, it's slightly diabolical, but you didn't hear that from me because we would like to have him on, and we are talking to his people.
I mean, we got to ask him, right? You got to be different. If you're going with Teddy, you got to do something different, right?
On that note, did you see Scottie Pippen's son is spelled? He's also named Scotty, but he spells it different than his dad. So I guess his dad named him with a different spelling. Scotty was with an I-E. Scottie Pippen Sr., I-E. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. is with a Y. Like, why?
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to differentiate himself some way. Who knows? I don't know.
That's what the junior and senior are for, man.
That's a good question. You ask a lot of really good questions.
Shut up.
Anyway, we brought Bobby on. I reached out to him after the Justin Tucker news. Obviously, that's the biggest news in Baltimore right now. Just wanted to get Bobby's thoughts on it, what he's hearing around the Ravens community, and then we'll move on to some of the draft picks, possibly if he's got time here, just to get your thoughts on that as well. Just give us a general. I mean, we kind of went over it. Justin Tucker gets released. Baltimore doesn't say much about all the allegations because, I mean, we're all of us here. They can't really do that. Just legally. So they made it about performance. And then it looks like we're going to have a little rookie kickoff. I mean, I know we drafted one, but we also just signed one here in undrafted free agent as well. That seems like he's pretty good too. So,
yeah. I mean, first of all, some of the selective outrage I was definitely rolling my eyes on that I was consuming on social media that there was actually people that didn't care to look into it or just ignored the legal component of it. Right. The fact that it was a football decision. That's the way that that's the messaging that they used. And it was strategic. You got to protect yourself. And ultimately, until the investigation is released, these are accusations. These are allegations. So that's the reality of it. I just saw so much outrage about it. And maybe it's because of the Ravens lineage or the Ravens history in the department of off-field related antics. Maybe that's just kind of reared its ugly head and folks haven't had a short memory. And I get it if that's the case. And I get it this way too. It's a hot button item. It's highly emotional and these allegations are serious. With that said, I had no problem with the way the Ravens as an organization handled this. Things did change and they will have to answer for why it went from, in their minds and the way that they spoke about it publicly, it went from, hey, we're taking the NFL's lead, AKA we're essentially waiting for the NFL to release its findings before we go ahead and make our decision. Well, what changed? Because they went and made their own decision prior to the NFL releasing, assuming that there will be something to release. This thing's lingering, guys. Justin Tucker's statement in response to this in the Baltimore Banner article came out in late January. I mean, we're months removed from that now. And I'm of the belief that Justin has a lot more left to give from a football perspective to a team. So I would assume there's going to be some level of punishment. After that, we've seen it time and time again. Look at Deontay Johnson, completely different situation. But if a team feels like and an owner feels like you can help in the National Football League, you're probably going to have a job for as long as you're available, as long as you stand and withstand the test of time. So there's that angle of it. And then there is, I think, what so many folks are hoping we go in from a direction and coverage standpoint, and that is what's next. Well, sure looks like Tyler Loop's got the front row seat and is in pole position to be next in Baltimore and succeed, the most accurate kicker of all time. They had an onslaught of picks in the 6th round. They went ahead and drafted him. We just had a chance, Sarah and I, yesterday actually to catch up with his special teams coach at Arizona. Tyler spent 5 years there. He redshirted his freshman year and then went on to have a pretty successful career there, even though the field goal percentage over the last couple, I'm sure, was lower than he would have liked. We got some great context yesterday. Okay, so he was 18 of 23 his final season at Arizona last year. 5 misses. He was 6 of 9, so 3 of those 5 misses came from 50 plus. The other context that I didn't know going into yesterday's interview was that he had a true freshman. Oh gosh, what was it now? I think he had a true freshman placeholder, and he had a guy as the long snapper that came in August. Now, Coach Gonzalez, his name's Danny Gonzalez. He used to be the head coach of New Mexico. Last year, he was the special teams coordinator at Arizona, and now he's the defensive coordinator. He was promoted. Great guy, super insightful. But that gave me the context of being like, okay, that 78 field goal percentage or whatever it was last year, I think it was 78 or 79. Maybe that doesn't tell the whole story. Just one thing that I learned from Justin Tucker over the years of covering him was that he felt like he was a product of the system. Well, the system for a long time was the Wolfpack. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know with the great Morgan Cox and Sam Cook and Justin Tucker. That was the Wolfpack. And when those guys went on to I guess Morgan went to Tennessee, Sam retired, it was a different era. And they've gone with, they've been a couple different long snappers, but right now it's Nick Moore and Jordan Stout as the punter's been the placeholder since he was drafted in, I believe, 2022 out of Penn State. So that told me that, like, okay, maybe that's not the whole story when it comes to Tyler Loop. Let's maybe not judge him, put him in a box based on one field goal percentage with very little context. He hit from 62 last year. They said it could have gone for 70 plus. So he's got the biggest leg in the draft. He was not the biggest kicking prospect in the draft. We were kind of following along. It seemed like Borregales from Miami and Fitzgerald from Florida State were sort of universally recognized as the two top prospects. But Randy Brown's been in this organization for a long time, an assistant to John Harbaugh, a special teams guru. And much like Jerry Rosberg did with Justin Tucker, plucking him from Texas as an undrafted rookie in 2012, I think Randy Brown, based on the tea leaves that you read and hear, he kind of stuck his neck out there for Tyler Loop. So you hope that ultimately he can kind of transition and succeed Justin Tucker in what is now a do or die sort of Super Bowl or bust phase of this Lamar Jackson era that Tyler's now walking into, which begs the question. He may have the strongest leg. He may be a first-class human being. But does he have the mental fortitude that it takes when ultimately things start to go south or maybe some rookie moments happen, the learning curve happens? Can he bounce back? All indications are that he's a super strong-willed guy, but I don't think you know until the bullets are flying. And I think that's what makes this, for Ravens fans, very nerve-wracking, but it also makes it very compelling from the outside looking in of just from a psychological standpoint, how this kid's going to handle being in the limelight.
It's kind of funny you bring up, how mentally tough he is, and we're all sitting here wearing golf polos, and a lot of kicking is like golf. I mean, you can get the shanks, you can get, you get the yips. You got a major problem. And so it almost seemed like Tucker had some yips a little bit last year. I mean, I can't remember if it was the beginning or the late in the season that he had them, but he definitely seemed like it. Yeah. So we'll see about this kid. And also, if he can hit from 70 plus, the only time he's ever going to get that is if Lane Kiffin's his coach and his name is Janikowski. So
for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to get many of those opportunities in the NFL. I think it's interesting you bring up, like, how is he going to handle that pressure? I wonder, if he has a rough moment early in the season, how he's going to react to that, because we haven't seen it in such a long time. I mean, Justin Tucker was a rookie in the 2012 season when we went to the Super Bowl, I believe, right? So yes. We haven't seen a new kicker in Baltimore and however long. I remember before Justin Tucker, we have, the Billy Cundiff here, and I know that's kind of a name that people like to forget in Baltimore. Also, there was a Steven Hauschka experiment that went for a little while. I wonder if he's going to have, if he has a rookie moment early in the season where he has a big kick and he doesn't come through, how he's going to respond to that. I think that's really important for kickers, especially as they start and building confidence throughout your career.
I think it's been an off-season long case study in terms of pressure management. I'm not just talking about at kicker, because all off-season we didn't know whether or not Justin would be the starter in 2025. I think we had a hunch that it was heading in this direction. But when I say it's been an off-season case study of ours that Sarah and I have been kind of experimenting with and having conversations back and forth on, is, look, in January, this team has fallen short in big moments, multiple years. We all know what happened back in January in Orchard Park. And I think if there's one question that's looming over them, it's not that can they run the table in the AFC North? Can they run the table in the regular season? They've proven that time and time again throughout the Lamar era. It's that pressure management element that comes into play when you are inevitably, and I expect them to be in January of 2026, back in the fold and making a run at the Lombardi. How does that change? How does your approach change? And what's going to change? Is it just a matter of playmaking, or does the approach to pressure management have to shift? I don't know. Harbaugh has spoken about that candidly in the last couple of months at a press conference setting, and I think everybody's kind of grappling for answers. There is no specific, I would think, there's no specific changes that have to happen. Some of it's circumstance, some of it's luck or bad luck if you're Mark Andrews, some of it's stuff that's completely out of your control. So same thing with Tyler Loop. How can you evaluate him from a special teams perspective all you want? It seems like he's passed with raving reviews in all categories, whether it's the leg strength, whether it's the production at Arizona, whether it's the leadership qualities, whatever. He seems like an old soul. Apparently he's engaged. He's got a lot of lot of great reps under his belt. But what's he going to do when the bullets are flying and things go south? And Dusty, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And quite frankly, I don't know if the Ravens know the answer to that, which does, if there's something to feel unsettled about, I think this is the most talented roster you can have an argument till the cows come home between Philadelphia and Baltimore. I would say between the two, obviously, it's one of the top 2 rosters in the entire league. There's no question that they are littered with talent in all 3 phases. It's a matter of, in a do or die season, in a Super Bowl or bust era that they now live in, and there's that AFC North divisional game or that cold weather game in Western New York in January, and things go south for a rookie kicker, how is he going to respond? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, between that and just the health of the rosters in general, which can really screw up a season, obviously. But going back to the release of Tucker and it seemed like this happened over the course of a week, the tone changed. Do we think that the Ravens found something out here recently? Is that fair to say, or not really sure?
I have a hard time with that one. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation that they know, right? That's been I've seen that echoed by many within the Ravens fan base online. Look, I'd be talking out of turn if I were to share an opinion on whether or not they know.
Yeah,
do they have a hunch? Have they had conversations? You'd like to think when an investigation is going on with one of the most powerful corporations in the globe that they would keep things private, But as we know, people talk.
Yeah.
And this has been easily, I struggle to find something that's garnered more attention this NFL offseason. I know there's been plenty of storylines, and Aaron Rodgers is at the top of that list. But given Justin's stature, given Justin's resume and impact and longevity, and really just what he's meant to this town, I think talked about a lot.
I think my question really is, do we think that the NFL has found something and maybe let the Ravens know, and that's why the tone changed? Or because it just kind of seemed like it came pretty quickly. It went from, we're going to let it play out, which I'm all for, to now we're making the move. So it's either that, or I guess they just feel, like you guys said, just that comfortable with Tyler Loop at this point.
Could it be sorry to jump in here. Could it be just one of those things where the Ravens see this as like, maybe this is going to be a thing that's going to be over their heads the whole entire season? And they were just as an organization, they were just like, maybe, we don't want to deal with this the whole season. Let's just get out from under it now and go a new direction. Do you think that that's a viable?
I would agree with you there, Dusty. And also, I just want to add, kind of interject and add to this is, all we talked about was the draft for the last, month and a half. Now you're in the lull of the NFL season where you don't really have a lot of stuff to talk about now. And do the Ravens want to be put in the negative limelight the entire time with the Tucker stuff still hanging over top of them?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's multifaceted. To Brian's point, this past Sunday was John Harbaugh's post-rookie mini camp, check-in press conference. You won't be hearing from him, I would think, behind a microphone until OTAs. So you got multiple weeks, right? Several weeks. So I do think that could very well be a part of this, because again, it was just on Sunday that he was asked about Justin. And that's when he said, hey, we haven't heard from the NFL. There is no update. It will be a football decision. And then that was reiterated, of course, in part in Eric DeCosta's statement. He didn't come out and say it that way, but that was essentially echoed in that statement. And so from a PR perspective, you put your PR hat on for a second, look at it from that perspective, and hey, we've known all along, maybe in their minds, because Justin has not been elite. He dropped down to below 75% field goal percentage. He was really inconsistent from over 50. He missed a couple extra points and ultimately cost them the Eagles game. And you could argue a few other games, which when you look at it, and last year, sure, they made the playoffs. Sure, they won the division. But you give them a couple more wins on the left-hand side of that column, well, guess what? That has major implications for seeding and playoff scenarios and everything as you're making your way. And it's obviously a lot different when you have home field advantage in January as opposed to going to a cold weather environment the way they were forced to, which was insane, by the way. Not making any excuses for Mark Andrews. He's got to catch that ball. He knows it. But having made the trip up there, guys, to Niagara Falls, Western New York in January, those are frigid temperatures. It was snowing. There was sideways wind going on out there. Lamar had that legacy defining drive too, which makes you. I know I'm all over the place right now. I'm going away from the Tucker stuff. I really don't.
No, you're good.
But that was a legacy defining type of drive from Lamar, showing everybody, kind of proving that what a lot of people say he isn't in the postseason, he is, and he is clutch. Has he been as consistent in the postseason as he is as a regular season career quarterback? No, but that told me all I needed to know. It reaffirmed who Lamar Jackson is, and what could have been, a game-winning drive or a game-tying drive.
Yeah, and we only got a couple more minutes here with you, Bobby. So let's transition off the Tucker stuff and kind of give you the platform here. What's been interesting you the most here over the past couple of weeks that you've been following along here? Whether you want to go with the draft or Mark Andrews or whatever, what's kind of been the most interesting story for you?
By the way, I'm a yapper, so if we need to go to 10:35, we can. But, So you said what's interested me the most?
Yeah, what's the story that's really got you intrigued at the moment?
It could be a specific draft pick. It could be like a guy maybe getting signed or whatever. Just take it wherever you want to go. Basically.
Well, I don't know how you don't do Mike Green. To me, all along, Mark Andrews has been a part of this team. Obviously, Eric DeCosta's messaging with the way he's been pressed this offseason led you to believe that perhaps he was open for business at points, maybe during draft weekend, maybe did field some calls, but ultimately it wasn't something that, blew him out of the water. And so Mark Andrews is a part of this team. I think the Ravens will be better for it. Is Isaiah likely the future? Yeah, I think we can all agree there. And Mark is a future Ring of Honor member, and it will be deserved. And he has built himself back up from just a brutal, that hip drop tackle, of course, Logan Wilson, Cincinnati, a couple years ago on that Thursday night game. I mean, to go down with that kind of severe ankle issue and somehow make it back for a playoff run was remarkable. And I just think it shows his resolve, shows his resiliency. And so I'm really, selfishly hoping for a big year for him, just personally knowing him. He's just a standout guy, stand-up guy, standout player, and he makes this team better as Lamar's security blanket. So that didn't really surprise me much. I think Isaiah is the future. We'll see what happens to Charlie Kohler. We'll see what happens to Pat Ricard. As you guys know, all four guys are going into contract years. But to me, how can it not be Mike Green? And I'm not saying that related to the hot button item that is Mike Green. We all know what he's facing or has faced in the past when it comes to the sexual assault allegations that ultimately caused him to fall in the second round. I saw Chris Sims the other day say that he absolutely, talent-wise, would have been a top 10 to top 20 overall pick in the first round. Ravens get him at 59 in the second. And when you look at his college production, when you look at his motor, and when you look at what program he is now entering with Chuck Smith leading the outside linebackers room, who brings a certain level of pass rush savvy and technique, background experience. I think you've seen Odafe Owe kind of the fruits of that labor. You've seen a Kyle Van Noy come in and sip from the fountain of youth. The rest of that room, there's more questions than there are answers, if you ask me. All due respect to Tavius Robinson. Maybe he has a breakout year. I don't know. But miss me with the optimism surrounding the David Ajabos of the world. Again, no disrespect to this guy whatsoever. I think he's a fantastic human being. But I just haven't seen like these flashes that folks want to hang their hats on. They've been small flashes, and they have not been consistent enough for me to kind of stand 10 toes down for him and say, oh, a Jabo breakout year incoming. To me, that's a little delusional. So, and the same can be said for Adisa Isaac. Again, I can't feel confident that a guy who had a cup of coffee last year as a rookie and was banged up and out of Penn State, how can I feel confident to sit here in early May and say that he's capable of hitting the double-digit sack category? So I just think when you combine the potential with the opportunity that sits in front of Mike Green, how can it not be tantalizing if you're a Ravens fan?
I totally agree with you, and I love the draft pick. I love the answer that you gave. I love that everyone kind of seems to think that he's more talented than where he was drafted. I know obviously the off the field stuff is the reason he fell. What I'm more concerned about on the defensive line is the interior pressure without Michael Pierce. Do you think that's more of like a Travis Jones kind of gets more reps and some other guys kind of plug and play behind him. Who's going to fill that role?
Yeah, I mean, if there's one role that, or if there's one void, I guess right now leading into OTAs, I get it. They're going to have some undrafted rookies. I saw a list of 17 that who's the kid from Auburn? Of course, his name's slipping me right now, but there's a defensive tackle that was named as one of the 17 undrafted rookies, and he's a run stuffer specialist. So I don't know if they have, visions of him potentially competing to be, the second string defensive tackle behind Travis Jones. But to answer your question, yeah, that's probably the one void that needs to be filled. And I think Travis is absolutely capable of stepping up. Do I think that his game differs slightly from Michael Pierce? Yeah, most do. Michael is a bowling ball, a run stuffer specialist, somebody that's ridiculously athletic given his measurables, as we all watched last year. His swan song almost would be pick six, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But and I love that guy. He's just a genuinely good dude. But yeah, I don't think that player backing up Travis Jones is currently on the roster. I think that's the way I would answer that question. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe it is one of the undrafted rookies that kind of can rise to the occasion. But yeah, I think you are left wanting a little bit more when it comes to that interior presence. And yes, you have Nnamdi Madubuike that's going to be mixing it up in there. And I think, KVN and Adafe were really the beneficiaries of some of his efforts in there last year.
Yeah.
And everybody kept saying, oh, it's only 6.5 sacks for Nnamdi. Like, what's good after his double-digit campaign and breakout season the year prior? Well, wait a second now. Like, let's give some respect to what Chris Sims refers to as the F the play up stat, the fuck the play up stat. You don't get any credit for that aside from watching film. So I think Nnamdi really brings that to this defense.
And to Dusty's point, I was really wishing we went after Calais Campbell again, because he seems like an amazing human being. Obviously won the Man of the Year award in the past, but also just a great player.
Yeah,
love Calais. He continues to get great one-year deals, and the Ravens just weren't in a position where now cap-wise, fortunately for them, with Justin Tucker being a post-June 1 designation, they will beef up their available salary cap just a little bit. I think it was somewhere between 2 and 4. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but so that could help a little bit from a team building standpoint, kind of putting the finishing touches on this roster. But yeah, there's just no way that they were giving Calais what he ended up getting. And he's done that a couple times since leaving Baltimore now. Once with Atlanta. Or I think this will be the third time, right? It'll be
Atlanta, Miami, and Arizona, right?
In Arizona, where it all started for him. So
I think we've reached out every time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how can you not be happy for that guy? But man, the Ravens could have absolutely used him. I don't think that's even up for debate, particularly given his freaking wingspan on field goal protection
blocks. Field goal blocks. Best. He's the best in the league over the last.
He's Brent Urban. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I think we've reached out probably every year since he's been gone, put a feeler out there. But I mean, you can't blame the guy for going and getting paid.
I mean, he seemed like he liked it here, but also we were talking about this the other day, Bobby. Matt Judon's still out there. You think that's a viable look for the Ravens?
I think more interior, right?
He's still in that. I still view him as a high earner. Now, granted, it's early May to your point, and he's available, but I still think that he's in that phase of his game where I just don't know if the Ravens are willing. By the way, he was a headache down the stretch.
Really?
Matt Judon was a little bit of a headache. That was actually his final year in Baltimore was, I think, either my first or second year with the radio, which meant I had all the access and whatnot, and I was in the locker room. That dude's a problem. Look, he's got game-wrecking ability, and I like the guy, but he caused a lot of rifts in that locker room. So I don't know if there's any of that potentially would have boiled over and have been an impact in terms of why they didn't choose to give him the bag the way New England did. Obviously, he would help them. I'm not disputing that whatsoever, but I just think that he's going to get paid more than what the Ravens are willing to offer or able to offer right now.
Yeah, and I think there were some issues with him in New England for a little bit too, but
there definitely was issues there.
Yeah,
I remember following that shit too, dude. He's a problem. I'm telling you.
So it's just that I think there's better options out there. And honestly, I mean, we're kind of looking good on in terms of like edge rushers at the moment. Hopefully, I mean, let's see how it plays out. But I mean, we have a few here that could potentially be really good. But Bobby, I know you got to get out of here. Bobby's got his own show here today, I believe, with the Vault in Bobby Baltimore. So go give him a follow over on YouTube, and the Vault with him and Sarah Ellison. And yeah, anything else that we should be plugging here that I'm forgetting for you?
I mean, I'd love for you guys to go check out that Danny Gonzalez interview yesterday. It was great.
Yeah.
He was the special teams coordinator for Arizona, so he worked very closely with Tyler Loop, and I just thought gave us great context that I haven't seen or heard anywhere else when it comes to Baltimore's new kicker. And then Sarah and I are live Monday through Friday, 12 noon Eastern. Looking forward to our schedule release special coming up on Wednesday next week. And it was a pleasure to do this with you guys. And Dusty, thank you for kind of coming into form here for us so we can complete our foursome. And Brooks, I look forward to Brian, I look forward to seeing you in the neighborhood, and Brooks, I look forward to running it back in Indy next February. So.
I appreciate you coming on, man. We're going to be doing a live show there from Baltimore and Canton somewhere June 10th ish sometime. So I'll reach out to you then and bother you.
Nice.
See if you're
we're going to do it right here in Canton. So if you want to come by and just hang out with us live, that'd be great.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Cool, man.
Love it.
All right.
Love it.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Have a good day.
All right. Yeah. Go check out Bobby on the Vault and on Bobby Baltimore, wherever you can get his socials, Instagram, Twitter, wherever. He's a wealth of knowledge on the Ravens, and he gave us a little bit more context on the Justin Tucker situation and some other stuff there.
I didn't know Judon was a problem. That was wild.
I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was with the Ravens. I remember him being a problem with the Patriots, but I didn't know he was with the Ravens.
I just know he wears red sleeves. Other football news, I don't know.
Speaking of shirts, Brooksy, is that the shirt you got down in spring training when we all went?
No, I got this the last time I was in town and we did a show live. Well, yeah, last time we did a show live when I was there and I stayed at your house.
Company?
Oh, Chesapeake Wine Company? Okay.
No, well, I guess that's not true. That's the last live show we did. But the last time I was there for an Orioles game last year when I stayed at your place.
Yeah.
That's why I got this. So
transitioning. I mean, we talked a lot about the Ravens, obviously, with Bobby on the show, but I want to just keep it on football just for a little bit before we go to the other stuff, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. But what about this George Pickens to the Cowboys trades, guys? This affects us a little bit here with the Steelers making a move. They trade for DK Metcalf, give him some money, and then all of a sudden, which I didn't really expect them to move George Pickens to the Cowboys. The deal is as such: Pickens to Dallas for a 3rd-round pick. There's also a 5th-round pick to the Steelers and a 6th-round pick coming back to the Cowboys. I don't really care as much about that, but it's basically Pickens to Dallas for a 3rd-round pick. What do we think about this deal? Do we think this makes the Cowboys that much better? Do we think this makes the Steelers that much worse? We still don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for the Steelers at this point. What do we take of this deal? Who do you think got the better bargain? Brian, let's start with you, and then we'll go to Brooks. Finish my breakfast.
Go ahead and finish your breakfast. Honestly, Jesus. Honestly, the Steelers are looking to move him during the draft. Pickens is kind of going off the Matthew Judon thing. Pickens has been a problem for a while, showing up late to team meetings, late to games. That's crazy. Just basically insubordinate. And for the fact that Mike Tomlin was able to corral Antonio Brown and other players like Le'Veon Bell, and he's just like, screw this, get the hell out of here. I think it makes the Steelers better, addition by subtraction. Jerry Jones wanted another receiver to take some things off of CeeDee Lamb. Look, I remember when Pickens was coming out of Georgia, some teams didn't have him on their draft boards. So this is an addition by subtraction. Now, does it look good for Aaron Rodgers to come there? I mean, look, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm just double teaming DK Metcalf the entire time, and then Pat Freiermuth was running down the middle of the field. All right, maybe, but who gives a damn? I think it's better. I think it's better for the Steelers, though, in the grand scheme of things.
Do we think it had anything to do? Sorry, Brooks. Do you think it had anything to do with the fact that him and Metcalf are pretty similar receivers, both kind of boundary, big body guys that can kind of go up and get it? Do you think they're kind of looking the other direction to try to find maybe more of like an X slot guy just to oppose DK Metcalf as opposed to having just two very similar receivers on both sides of the field?
That's fair because they have a guy. They have I think his name's Roman Wilson, who played at Michigan,
In
and he's
Austin.
and in Austin, and those are smaller guys that maybe you can put on the outside or maybe put in the slot, and you don't have to worry about George Pickens being bitchy moany, not getting his touches. Because what he had like 59 balls last year. Yeah. And he's gonna bitch moan and whine. So get rid of him. It's fine. And you go to Dallas, which is great. You got another guy who bitch moans and whines, Botox cocktail, Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've learned. I mean, we can look at the past and learn from that. Whenever everything I've read too from like Mark Caboli, one of the insiders for the Steelers. I guess he's technically with McAfee, but he covers the Steelers exclusively.
One of my favorite people.
He came out and said that it was Tomlin banging the drum to get rid of him.
Good.
And what have we learned every single time that Tomlin wants to get rid of a receiver or gets rid of a receiver? Never really works out when they go somewhere else, i.e. Deontay Johnson, Claypool, AB, now Pickens. We'll see what happens with that. But it seems like every time he gets rid of a good receiver or a great receiver, never really ends up working out that well.
I don't want to give the Steelers too much credit, but damn, they do a really good job of getting some good return for their receivers. They got a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. That did not work out well for the Bears.
Mapletron.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say Steelers. I mean, you got to think that Metcalf has to be a little bit pissed off because that's just bringing somebody else to cover him. But yeah, I think for the Steelers as a whole, I'm in agreement with you, Brian. I think it's an addition by subtraction.
One thing we got to remember is Amari Cooper is still out there, and maybe the Steelers are going to make a play for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, he would fit that culture great.
So is Keenan Allen, by the way.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? I mean, those are guys that make a lot of sense in that team building. Also, the Jaguars just cut Gabe Davis 14 months after they signed a 3-year, $39 million deal. They cut him because he is not very good.
No, he's not. He had like 5 touchdowns in 2 games and then got paid. He's the Matt Flynn. If anyone remembers Matt Flynn.
I do.
Oh man.
Matt Flynn got signed to a starter's contract and never started another game for Seattle because Russell Wilson came in.
Yeah. Good for him, though. Yeah. Good for him and bad for him because he lost it right away. Yeah. And I think it was a situation where Russell just ended up winning the job.
Yeah.
But it was just he's got to be like, man, at least I got paid, right?
Well, he made the most amount of money he could have possibly made playing football based on just that one contract.
But he was also probably like, it would have been nice to start for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's no clipboard Jesus. Clipboard Jesus, Charlie Whitehurst.
Chuck Whitehurst, baby.
Chuck Whitehurst. Him and Chase Daniel had the 2 easiest jobs in the NFL of all time. You never got hit. You held a clipboard, and you got paid millions and millions and millions of dollars.
You gotta love that, man. You gotta love that.
It's the opposite of what Joe Flacco's doing. Joe Flacco gets a second string job, and he has to start every game. Every year.
Yeah, he's like, I was trying to take it easy this year, and now I gotta fucking start because all these starters are either getting hurt or they suck.
But yeah, anyway, I wanted to get your guys' take on that before we transition off football because it's May 8th and we've talked about 40 minutes of football here, and we haven't talked about the Caps losing in Game 1 the other night in overtime. We haven't talked about the Orioles dropping.
Don't bring them up. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about the Orioles. I don't. When they win a game, we can talk words. All right. We
haven't even talked about the Celtics being up 20 in their last 2 games in a row and blowing them both, by the way. They scored 6 points in the last 9 minutes and lost by 1. 6 points in 9 minutes of an NBA basketball game, and they lost by 1 point.
I want to go to the Indiana game real quick. The Celtics, what the hell are you doing? The Indiana, there is a crazy statistic. Only when you're winning by 7 points or more in an NBA game with less than 1 minute, teams were 1 and 1,600 and something. The Indiana Pacers have beaten the who are they playing? Oh, shit.
Cleveland
twice in 2 games. So now it's three teams out of 1,600 and some odd situations in the playoffs that this has occurred. How that is a crazy statistic. They've done it twice in the same week.
And now they're coming home. I mean, I've been talking to my father-in-law about this because he's a Pacers fan, and I don't follow basketball that much. But yeah, I mean, they just took 2 from Cleveland, who's the number 1 seed in the East, I believe. And now they come home tonight, 7:30, and you would expect them to win, or it's going to be close. So I mean, I don't see why Indy's not going to take this series unless something drastic happens. And it sounds like they just fucking push the ball up and down the court.
They're outpacing them, for lack of a better word.
See what you did there.
Cleveland has much bigger star power. They're much deeper. They've been better all season long. But yeah, it's just you can run into stalwarts in the playoffs, and if you lose a couple games that you shouldn't, all of a sudden that 7-game set turns into a 5-game set. You got to win 4 of them. You know what I mean? So it's going to be tough road ahead for those guys. But once again, we're not, this is not a basketball pod, so we don't have to get super in depth about all that stuff. But I did want to mention it because it's crazy. I've been watching all these games. They're fucking
how about that? All 4 road teams won game 1. That's a wild stat too.
All dogs, 2 big dogs. Like Boston, I think was minus 900 to win this series against the Knicks. They're down 2-0 going to New York. Like,
there were better odds, and I think they've mentioned it on McAfee many a time, that there were better odds for the Celtics to win for the Celtics to sweep the series than for the Knicks to win the series.
Yeah.
So obviously that's something happening.
That's a crazy line. But yeah, other than that, were the Pacers down to Cleveland like 20 points at some point or more?
I don't know about
that game that they came back and won at the buzzer.
That I don't know. I haven't paid as much attention to that series to be honest with you. So I don't know 100% what the game, how the game script has gone in those games.
I know this is going to sound like an absolutely asinine comment, but I wonder if you practice missing free throws like Halliburton had to do in order for them to come back.
I think there's very specific crazy dudes that do. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people do.
Right? That just sounds so stupid. You practice missing your shot. Yeah. But I mean, he had to in that instance for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like Halliburton kind of has that clutch gene. And I don't know. It's just because I'm an Indy and I probably get the highlights through my feed a lot more.
Yeah.
And the targeted stuff, but it seems like he's always coming up big or putting up a big performance in some of these games that matter. And also there was a play this year that I saw from him where he kind of got caught in between where he was like, all right, do I shoot? Do I pass? And then he was up in the air and he threw it off the fucking backboard back to himself and then went up and dunked it. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, we just went NBA. We just went basically like he just threw it as hard as he could against the backboard. And obviously it just came right back to him and he just dunked it in. Like it reminded me of NBA Street.
You'd think in the NBA there'd be so many guys in there clogging the lane when he's trying to go up for a basket. But, the NBA, those NBA
I mean, this was from like the 3-point line.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was way out. It wasn't like a short one. It was like a
yeah. He was throwing the dodgeball at the
It was nuts. I gotta find that and I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, weird shooting motion, by the way. Tyrese Halliburton gets me.
Yeah.
Makes me feel weird when he shoots, but it goes in a lot. But anyway, all right. Let's talk about the Caps first, because Brian doesn't want to talk about baseball at all. And
what is there to talk about? There's nothing. I'm not even going to say their name. I don't want to talk about any of the players. Just figure it the fuck out, guys. That's it. I'm just going to just not you, the team. Figure it the hell out.
So let's talk about the Washington Capitals. They unfortunately lose game 1 in OT to the Carolina Hurricanes. Did you guys watch the game? Were you glued to it? What did you see? Obviously, the Caps were winning. I believe it was just 1-0 for the majority of the game, and then Carolina tied it up in the third period and obviously sent it to overtime. I was at work, so I didn't get to watch it super closely. I was just kind of listening along and looking up when the announcers got real excited, basically. What did you guys see from the game? Because I didn't get to watch it dead on.
I mean, the Caps looked really decent. At the onset, though, Carolina was out shooting the living hell out of us. I mean, there was a lot of offensive,
really.
a lot of pressure, and they had the puck in our offensive zone a heck of a lot more than the Caps did in Carolina's offensive zone. But the Caps didn't look bad. But yeah, I'm sorry, they didn't look that bad. It's just circumstance. It's hockey, and when I say it's hockey, it's the puck bounces in weird ways and caroms off those boards. So I don't really blame the Caps for losing this game. Okay, you lose at home. Home ice means nothing in hockey. It's not like the NFL.
I don't know. I think it means a little bit.
Sleeping in your own bed, maybe, but okay.
Honestly, I don't think home field means anything in the NFL anymore. I just don't. And like you say in the NFL, like I think
I think it does for weather.
It's very circumstantial, yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's whether it's Buffalo has an advantage, right?
Like what we just talked about with Bobby, right? Yeah.
But like I don't necessarily think the crowd noise. I think it's very specific to certain places where like you can get that high energy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, like what we saw in Winnipeg the other night, like we were talking about how electric that place got. Like once they got to OT, it didn't feel like anybody was going to win that game but Winnipeg, but because they had all the momentum. But I think it's very situational based on home field mattering in 2025, just in general in sports.
I also disagree with you. The NFL, it makes them because you're trying to make calls too at the line. So you have to go silent counts, stuff like that. If the crowd noise is that loud, you have to start changing up your game plan a little bit here and there. In hockey or in baseball, you don't need any of that shit. I mean you're
hockey,
in the moment, you're in the game.
I mean, I'll disagree with you there because hockey's a lot of communication on the ice. I mean, you see them like when they pan close to like the players, they're always yelling at each other, like when where the puck's going, who's coming up behind them, and everything like that. Okay. So if you can't hear, it's just another obstacle. Is really what it is. Baseball.
I really don't think it matters in baseball.
Do I think it matters? Like, there's nothing that it should play a part in. I think it matters to teams that. This sounds stupid, but like, it matters to teams that like really get behind that. You know what I mean? Or can't stand like they kind of fold under the pressure. I mean, you see it like at Texas A&M or whatever. Where they do the ball five. It's just like it's something that gets in your head for good teams that are mentally tough. That doesn't mean shit, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think there's definitely an element where when that starts affecting you and maybe the snowball effect starts tumbling down the road, like how we feel with the Orioles right now. I don't know, but
maybe like also in baseball, like the park dimensions matter a little bit. Like in Fenway, Boston has such an
familiarity too. Right?
Familiarity with the green monster. Their lineup is constructed to pepper balls off the monster and hit the gaps and stuff like that. So I think that matters a little bit in baseball, but I don't know. Not so much in the other sports. Like I think the Knicks will have an advantage in the Garden. Yeah, I think they'll have an advantage because the Knicks fans are crazy and they haven't won shit for the last 40 years. But, I mean, I just don't think home field advantage in general matters as much as it used to in sports. And maybe it still matters a little bit. Maybe I'm giving it no credit at all. But I definitely think that it's not like it was when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like home field advantage when I was a kid was so much bigger of a thing in sports in general. Do you guys feel that way? Agree? Whatever.
Do I think it's the same? No, but I can't sit here and go and discount it as much as you are. I think there's a middle ground there. But going back to the Caps here with this game, it was only, I mean, obviously it was a 1-1 game, and Brian brought this up, like the shot differential was crazy. Do I think the Caps played that bad? No. I thought we got outplayed for sure. Big time. We did not deserve to win that game one bit. Do I think it was like a bunch of turnovers, like in neutral ice and all this different stuff? I don't think so necessarily, but I also wasn't following it that closely because I have a toddler and it's hard to do that at certain times of the night. But yeah, everything I was seeing, it was just like whenever they crossed the blue line, they were getting shots on goal, and they were just doubling up shots on us compared to them, and which give credit to our goalie. only let one by until overtime. So I don't know. I didn't watch close enough to see, like, did they outskate us? Were they way faster? Were they way more physical? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. I'm done.
The shot differential was extremely skewed in the first like 7 to 8 minutes of the game because they were just consistently in our offensive zone, just ripping shots over and over and over again. And then after that, the game really evened out. So the numbers can lie a little bit in this situation.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because at one point I think it was like 11 shots to 1 in the first like 5-6 minutes, and because they were just continuously peppering our goalie. And then after that, yeah, everything evened out. And then we went up 1-0. It's like, okay, this makes no sense.
Yeah, I remember watching, I think it was the intermission going into overtime, and it said something like we had 31 block shots or something like that. And I think it was Subban was like, I mean, when you're giving up 60 shots, like 31 block shots looks great, but when you're giving up 60 shots, it's not a good stat to have. That means you're giving up a lot of shots.
Can you believe goalies used to not wear masks? Like, holy shit.
No, fuck that, dude. No, like that, like hockey pucks and lacrosse balls, I don't want any part of. I mean, it makes a baseball look like nothing.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
I know they're rubber, but that's some dense fucking rubber. I'm telling you.
And cold.
And it's coming at like 98 miles an hour.
Even faster if you got a guy like Zdeno Chara hitting the puck at you. Jesus. Somebody was saying go sports ball the other night at the screen, and I was like, there's not even a ball in this sport.
There's no ball.
Yeah, but we got game 2 tonight is it at 7 or 7:30?
At 7.
7. So we got 7. Orioles play at 7:40 again.
No,
I don't know who that is.
Orioles play at 1:00 today.
I don't know who they are.
Speaking of the Orioles, Rakabako has during this podcast tweeted the Orioles have DFA'd Matt Bauman and recalled Colin Selby to the main roster. Bauman.
Randolph Macon, Mr. Selby, my man.
I don't even know how to say the guy's name. That's how much I care about the Orioles right now. I did see that we're getting a new video board in the offseason. It's going to be roughly 2.5 times larger than the one that's currently in center field, which is kind of cool. So we got that going for us. They're going to get new ribbon monitors too. We're going to have and maybe a new PA system like we got this year.
Hey, we can show the losing score. We can show our losing score in bigger numbers. This would be great.
Look at that. What a comment from Nick. I'll care about the Orioles when the Orioles care about the Orioles.
I like that. And the fact that you could use Orioles 3 times in the same sentence is extremely awesome.
That's lawyer talk for you.
Oh, without a doubt. It was legalese bullshit.
Well, he's an avian law expert, so if you ever had any bird questions,
can we sue the Orioles for sucking ass?
I mean, the Orioles are a bird.
Early Morton wasn't the reason we lost last night. I didn't think. It wasn't.
Let's go through it. Let's actually have some analysis here about last night's game because the night before was not worth talking about. I don't think Charlie looked that bad last night. Again, it's another. I mean, Brian? Can you sit here and say watching that game last night that he was terrible? I mean, he didn't
watch that game.
I would like to say that I watched the game, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, his fastball looked awesome, dude. And I said it in the group chat, like the 2 seam is moving, man. It's got life, and it amazes me like how much they go to the curveball with him, even when it's not working. Because I see it working at times, and is obviously inconsistent. That's been part of the problem, and that's what happened last night. They went to it and hung one like real bad. Real freaking bad. It was a walk. It was a base. It was a base knock and then a home run, and that's all that really happened. He looked decent the rest of the game. They were late on his fastball a ton. They weren't putting good swings on it a ton. It's just oh shit, that's not good. But yeah, it's man, it's right there. And watching that interview after the game was depressing, to be honest with you,
God.
with him, because I see it. I understand what he's going through because I see it. Like it's really it's fucking close. And I keep saying this, and we can't keep saying this for fucking 2 months.
Yeah.
But god damn it, man.
This is what I look. I'm right there with you, Brooks. This is why I don't want to talk about him anymore because we're beating the same drum over and over and over again, and nothing is changing.
Yeah.
We're
playing one of the worst teams in the American League this year, along with us. We're playing against their 4 and 5 starters to start the series, and we put up 3 runs total in the last 2 games. Like what in the fuck is going on with the bats? Like Keegan Egan can throw fucking meatballs and give up a 2-run blast and put the game out of reach all he wants. The game should have been. We can't have 2 runs against their number 5 starter. I think
that's what bothers me more. It's just how is the hitting still where it's at? And I said it in the group chat the other day. I mean, Christ, should we just fire anybody involved with hitting at this point and bring in Matt Holliday?
So do you have a bat burning contest? Like you just put them all out there in one big TP and burn all of them and get new ones? I mean,
what's Terry Crowley doing? I mean, call somebody.
Geez, there's a name.
Call someone. We need somebody.
The Crow. Gotta bring back the Crow.
I
don't care if it's fucking Ripken, Matt Holliday. I don't care if it's fucking.
I don't care if it's nobody at this point.
I mean,
David Lowe. All right, the kale eating son of a bitch. David Lowe can come back and just start doing it. All right, Brett Ritchie, that's for you. By the way,
who's the worst MLB player of all time that you would be okay with being the Orioles hitting coach at this point in the season?
I mean, we have Cody Ashley at this point. I mean, the ex-third baseman for the Phillies.
Yeah. Can we get like Michael Franco? Like, can we get somebody? Xavier Nady?
I mean, yeah, wow. Anybody. I mean, you've heard. I've seen some stuff on Twitter too with Brett Boone going back to Texas, and all of a sudden their bats come alive, and then Edgar Martinez going to Seattle, and their bats have come alive a little bit. I mean, Christ, it's hard to get any worse than what they were, but I feel like we're in that same spot right now as what they've been in.
Maybe it doesn't need to be anybody that comes in. Maybe it's just the current regime is not connecting with the players. And I don't know how the players feel personally, because I don't know if the players dislike this regime or they do like this regime, but either way, it's not working. So there needs to be a change. And I know everyone always says like, there's like, it's short-term memory now and, heads got to roll, but this is fucking bad. And it's bad all around, and it's bad vibes. It's bad hitting. It's bad pitching. It's bad everything.
Yeah.
And bad injury luck. I mean, but that's been over the course of the last 2-3 years. It's kind of a trend at this point. And I don't know if it's the players or the organization, but somebody,
Well, they fired their athletic trainer last year and brought in a new guy this year. So
they fired the hitting staff and brought in a new one, and that worked.
Yeah, it's been working so far. So I don't know what the right answer is. 41-year-old, I can grab 15 mil. I'll do that real quick. Oh, Christ, I'll take $200,000, dude.
Yeah.
I can get. I mean, here's my frustration with it, and I see a lot of stuff, and I'm not a Povich guy. I'm really not. I really liked what I saw in spring training. I really did.
Okay.
And I just haven't liked anything since, because he's getting, even when he's getting outs and he's pitching decent, they're loud outs, man. They're getting tattooed. They're obviously they're still going to be a decent little outing. It's going to be like 4 or 5 innings, 2 runs, 3 runs, which is sad to say that's a decent outing this year for us. But I'm sitting there watching the game and I'm like, man, these guys are fucking screaming. These outs are loud outs. So yeah, I don't freaking know. I don't know who's calling pitches either with this Charlie Morton stuff right now, because God forbid he's throwing more than 50% curveballs, it feels like, especially in certain counts. I know that for sure. And like I said, I watched last night's game and I'm like, the 2-seam, they did not look good on his 2-seam. And we're coming from a guy who's having trouble controlling his curveball, who's having trouble with walks, who we saw that last night find a little bit of something in his 2-seam. Why don't we lean into that? Who's calling the fucking pitches? It's not Charlie. I know that because he doesn't have a pitch com to go back to Adley or whoever is calling the game, and I see Adley looking over in the dugout. So it's just frustrating, man. So I don't know what the right answer is. It's sad when Ramon Laureano right now is your best hitter at the moment. Well, I shouldn't. Adley's actually hitting decent, under the radar, but and it's really frustrating when guys can hit really good, but I mean when you're down 9-1, you hit a solo bomb and you're just padding stats at that point. So I'll go back to my beer and let you guys drink. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, it's just, I mean, what else are we going to say, man? I mean, Brian said it before we even started the segment. Do we even really need to have the conversation?
Are we tipping pitches? I saw this last night. Yankees are calling pitches against the Padres, right? Guys on second are calling pitches, stealing signs, whatever you want to call it. There's no signs anymore. I understand that. There's PitchCom, but guys are looking into gloves now and seeing the grip and relaying it to the hitter. I don't know if that's a thing because I haven't paid close enough attention to that. I'm definitely going to now because I've seen multiple things on Twitter here recently over the past 2 weeks of it happening and multiple teams giving signs from second base to the hitter. I don't know if it's that. So I don't know what the right answer is. It's got to be, and Dustin, you said it. I think you said May 15th or 16th. There's got to be something that happens if nothing's changing by that point.
Yeah, I think we get to mid-May. We got one more week to give this a chance, and if it doesn't, something's got to change. Whether it's the hitting coach, whether it's Brandon Hyde, whether it's something else, you know what I mean? Just turn the lineup. Whatever card Hyde turns in for the lineup, just flip it upside down and
bring Basayo up.
Yeah, I don't know what the thing is. Kobe Mayo looked like a fucking lost puppy dog at third base the other night, by the way. I don't know if anybody wanted to talk about that.
He doesn't belong in the major leagues.
He does not belong. He doesn't belong playing the field in the major leagues. That's 100% sure.
He should bring no leather to the ballpark, not even a leather belt.
Does he belong hitting? I mean, he has 4 hits in his career.
He kicks ass in AAA, but I mean, I don't know what it matters if you can't hit in the fucking major leagues. I don't know. You say he shouldn't bring leather. It reminds me, I was playing golf with this Pirates fan one time, and he said that Ralph Kiner used to bring 2 bats to the stadium because he didn't need a glove.
There's I saw on MLB Scoops Twitter account today that the Orioles are heavily going after Mitch Keller of the Pirates, which would be cool, but I don't know who you give up there. Teams don't usually trade at this point in the season, and I don't blame them, but maybe Pittsburgh's in a different situation. But like what Dusty said, I'm usually not on board with making a change this early. I don't like it.
Speaking of some changes, we got some lineup changes 3 minutes ago. Rock put out the lineup. Jackson Holliday hitting second. Gunnar, Holliday, O'Hearn starting off with 3 straight lefties. Then Mountcastle and Laureano. Then Kerstad, Mayo, Rivera, and Hanley. Mayo is DHing, so don't worry about his glove. Rivera is playing third, Jersey Jerry. And Hansley will be handling Dean Kramer on the bump. So Holliday moves up in the lineup. It seems like for the first time. I don't know if it's the first time, but it seems like a lot of people have been calling for it since he's kind of had a little bit of a resurgence. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, a little bit. He's the best. He's one of the top 2-3 hitters on the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Try it. Fuck it.
See.
Who cares?
We'll see what happens. 3 straight
Who
lefties.
cares at this point? And but yeah, back to my other thought. I always think that it's too early to do it before the All-Star break or June or whatever. But I mean, we're seeing what's going on this year. Nothing's changing. You get a spark for a game here and there, and then it's done. So yeah, fuck it. I mean, you got Zach, you got Buck Britton on the bench. You got Trinos on the bench. Do I know if they're going to be any better? No, they have 0 major league experience. But
what does it hurt?
Be proactive, not reactive, right? Get ahead of it. Don't lose the whole season before you make a decision that this isn't working. Because we see right now that it's not working.
I've soured on this team. I've held out hope. I'm not giving up on the year, but something's got to take.
Sour, you're an atomic warhead on this team, dude.
I am absolutely.
Oh man, remember those things? God, they can make your face scrunch up like a freaking or like a raisin.
Rectum.
I'm done wasting my time. This is the maddest I've ever been at the Orioles because the teams actually got talent and they can't put it together. The hitting is just not there.
I think that's why. It's so frustrating. So frustrating.
Like when we're putting Geronimo Heel out there and like guys who don't belong in the major leagues, I can deal with the losing. Not this squad. This squad is so too talented.
Quick answer: no talent. Somebody just got went down with a shoulder the other day too for the Orioles in minors, which is awesome. I need to find that again.
I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and they were doing like something like similar to like what we do with our drafts, but they were drafting like worst MLB seasons, and they were trying to get like the worst WAR seasons or whatever like that. And that Chris Davis year in, I think it was 2017, he hit 168. He had 470 plus at bats in that season, hitting 168. How fucking crazy is that? That guy still was getting at bats. That's like almost a full season of starting every game.
Because they were paying him.
I know, but it's crazy that they just didn't say, all right, surely this is not working, right? Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, at some point, you got to yank it, right?
So bad.
Yeah. It's been ugly. It's no fun to watch. We can't keep beating the same dead horse, though.
Brandon Young, that's who it was. Brandon Young's in the 7-day IL with a shoulder.
He's been starting games for us, so that's good.
Things are going well.
Yeah. I'm going to do, for next week's episode, I'm going to do an update on the home run draft because I haven't done it in a couple weeks. See how we're doing there. I know Tony's got 10 homers and 10 stolen bases already, hitting 300. So that's fun. That guy just continues to be fucking
Did
incredible.
Brooks get Ohtani and Aaron Judge?
No, I got Ohtani. He got Judge. He got Judge in the second round, though, which,
I also got Trout.
That was just stupid. Yeah, you got Trout, who is hurt.
Started off the year good, though.
Yeah, classic 10-day IL.
No structural damage. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good. Don't worry about that guy.
Yeah, I'm done talking about baseball.
Yeah, the Orioles suck.
If you're looking for bets this weekend, I got a couple here.
Yeah.
I gave out at the very end of the show the other day, but probably not a lot of you were still watching. I like Harris English. I like Wyndham Clark this week. I also like Daniel Berger a lot this week. Harris English and Daniel Berger to both top 20 pays out plus 500. And that's top 20, including ties. So you don't have to worry about that because that fucking screwed me earlier this year. So I bet including ties only bets these days. Okay. Daniel Berger and Harris English. Yeah. If you put them together to top 20 in this tournament, plus 500. So 5-1 on that bet. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple other guys I like here. Rory McIlroy is plus 400 to win the tournament. You can't really bet a guy 4-1 to win a golf tournament, especially when the top 80 guys in the world are playing in the golf tournament. So it's going to be, it's going to be tough to bet that. But I don't necessarily know if I like any winners this week because it's a course we've never seen on the PGA Tour. We'll kind of save that for next week. But I don't want to give you guys any other bets on the NBA and the MLB because I am ice cold when it comes to that. So I'm going to stick with what I'm good at, which is gambling on golf. Take Harris English and Daniel Berger to top 20. Do it separately and put it together. See how
we'll post that on social media afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Any baseball? You been betting any baseball at all? Like,
not well. When I bet on baseball, usually it's betting on the Orioles, and you guys know how that's going this year. So
I didn't know if you were doing like total bases or home runs or anything like that.
Yeah, I try to do that stuff, but once again, like I like betting on games that I'm going to watch, and I'm usually watching Oriole games, so I don't want to bet on the other team. And so I try to pick a couple of guys that hit a homer or like two guys for 2+ bases. You know what I mean?
You're Pete Rose.
It's when we're getting 4 hits and scoring 1 run a game, it's really tough to hit those kind of bets. So Yeah, it just feels like a bad time of the season for me to be betting baseball. So I'm just going to try to lay off of it for a little.
You
while.
crush golf, so I would have stick to golf.
I'm sticking with golf. Yeah. I got the golf shirt on. Thanks to Bobby for that, and I also got a little Frank. You see Frank there?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You golfer today? How you been hitting them?
I shot my last 3 rounds were 87, 83, 91. So we're pretty much where I am. High 80s. You get a low 80s in there every now and then. Get a low 90s in there every now and then. Yeah, I mean, we're hitting them good. I got new wedges coming tomorrow, which is exciting. I got some Titleists.
New wedgies?
Yeah, new wedgies. I got a 54 and a 58 degree from Titleist because they're pretty much the only ones that offer like a variety of options for left-handed wedges anymore. It was them in Cleveland. I wanted to get TaylorMade because that's what most of my clubs are, but they didn't offer a lot.
Does the Believe in Tomorrow tournament? Do they still do the dress up like a woman and you get to play from the women's tees?
I'm not really sure.
That's the Baltimore version of this tournament. This Ocean City version of this tournament is a whole lot of people and a whole lot of fun, but it's definitely not as raucous as the what you guys were doing back in the day.
There was
Brian. We need some pictures. We need some pictures.
No, you don't, because Dustin.
I'll get them. Don't worry.
Dustin just ate, and I don't want him to throw up. Yeah, they haven't done the Baltimore one in a couple years.
Yeah.
I think the last Believe in Tomorrow, Dell ran it, and it was a mini golf tournament out in Ocean City.
That's what I was gonna say. Ever since Delaware left there, he was the one who organized it, I think.
Yeah.
So.
We play the one in Ocean City all the time. It's actually the biggest golf tournament in Ocean City every year. I think it's like 400 plus people.
Jeez.
It's crazy. There's a lot of fucking people out there. And there's a cooler full of beer on every hole. It's awesome.
How the hell do they do that? They get 3 courses?
There's 2 courses, and they double up some of the holes.
Okay.
It's not exactly the quickest round of golf you're ever going to play.
No.
It's fun. Yeah.
No. I remember like the Scunny Open where you had to dress as a woman. There were times where I couldn't eat food because there were so many disgustingly hairy men wearing dresses and heels. I remember Sarge one time lost a high heel during the round of golf. I mean, how do you golf with one high heel on?
I would probably take them both off and go barefoot at that point, right? All right, we got some call-ins we're gonna do. Let's bring in our buddy Joe from Arkansas here. What is up, Arkansas Joe?
How we doing, guys?
We're doing good, man. I like you got a button up too.
I do. You know,
great day to be a hat.
Gotta look the part, act like I'm a professional out here.
Stay classy.
Hell yeah.
Man.
Joe, how's Arkansas these days? What's going on out there? Anything?
It's beautiful out here today. I'm running my ass off. They got me working like crazy. Busy. Yeah. That new summer edition is just flying off the shelf as soon as we put it in there. So
what color is that can?
It's like a maroonish pink. It's called White Peach. It's actually, if I had to say, it's probably the best flavor Red Bull has ever put out. Doesn't taste like an energy drink. Just mixes well with alcohol, and it's moving.
Sounds dangerous.
Sounds like we got bombs in the future.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
How about the Razorback softball team yesterday? Y'all see that?
I did not. What happened?
1-1, 7th inning. Bree Ellis, National Player of the Year, came to bat. They didn't pitch to her all game. Bases were loaded. They had no choice but to pitch to her, because if you walk her, you lose, because it's tied. It's the 7th inning because they only play 7 innings. Second pitch, grand slam.
See ya.
Walk off, number 26. So that's the record for the school now.
God damn. How many games have they played?
Yeah, really? How many games have they played?
That is this is SEC tournament, so their regular season is over.
I wonder how many games they play, because 26.
Still, that's almost 1 home run a game, probably.
Yeah. She's probably got a homer every game.
She got drafted number 2 overall in the professional draft they just did, and is noted as the National Player of the Year.
There's a
Orioles draft her?
professional softball draft?
Yes, it was
Yeah,
2
they just
rounds.
started it.
I think there's 6 or 12 teams, something like that.
Okay.
And they gave out these golden tickets to 12 girls in college, and she happened to get one of them.
I think I feel like I remember you saying that on the pod a couple weeks ago. But anyway,
I think she's batting like almost 600 for the season. Like,
Jesus,
it's
that
insane.
good? Is that good?
That's good.
Better than the Orioles.
Yeah.
Maybe she should be the hitting coach.
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
And while we're on the topic of Razorback sports, the women's golf team made the regionals for the NCAA. So I don't pay too much attention to college golf, but the morning show was talking about it this morning. So I guess they're advancing to the next round. The lady backs up there. I think it was in Ohio is where the tournament was. So
Okay. Joe looks so serene right now. This beautiful green tree behind him. He's dressed up nice. It's like you're going to church, man. I love it.
I mean, there's probably like 10 churches within 3 blocks. It is Arkansas.
He's wearing his Thursday best for sure.
How was your birthday? What'd you do?
Got drunk at the bar.
Okay.
Hell yeah! Did you watch the Derby or did you not make it?
No, I watched the Texas Arkansas game.
Oh yeah.
And as a bartender, you'll understand. The bartender gave me her shift shot, so
hell yeah.
I got fairly drunk. The lady next to me, random stranger leaving, said, "I heard it's your birthday. Can I buy you a shot?" Sure. Why not? So Shannon had no interest in going to the bar to watch baseball, so she said, "I'll drop you off."
Good.
Sure.
Good.
And
oh man, you let loose a little bit. Hell yeah, Joe. That's all.
Yeah, it had some good food, and Razorbacks won. So I mean, can't beat that.
How'd you feel Sunday?
I didn't watch the Derby, so I saw the horse isn't running in the Preakness to hold off for the Belmont, which kind of sucks, but it makes sense. I mean, the Belmont's a 1.5 mile race, and you don't want to get that horse hurt. So,
that's a good topic, and I'm glad Joe brought it up.
I think it's lame. I think they should have to run it all 3 if they win the Derby.
If I'm NBC, I want eyeballs for the Preakness, and there's no lure to watch the Preakness now. And look, I know we're jaded because we're from Baltimore, other than Joe, obviously, but like NBC, it's TV rights. They want that horse running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can put stipulations on it, but they're going to start faking injuries and be like, "Oh, he needs to rest."
You got a bad hoof.
I don't think there's a way around. Yeah.
And by the way, the Belmont's not even at Belmont this year. I found that out. It's at Saratoga. I don't know why.
Joe, you're on mute.
Yeah, we're not hearing you or something.
You're not coming through, dude.
Uh-oh. Joe, you're quiet. You're too quiet.
Too quiet, Joe. He's still going, too. I love it. I love it.
We can't hear you, dude.
We could. We can't anymore.
This is great to watch. This is.
I'm back.
There we go.
Yeah, he's back.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I didn't even move. I just randomly lost signal for a minute.
Lost audio.
We saw you, and it didn't say you were muted, but we couldn't hear you.
But
all right,
I got a fact for you. You want?
Facts.
Yeah.
There is 58 breweries in Arkansas that manufacture and sell beer. 46 are small breweries, 12 are micro brews, and that's the only place you can go buy packaged beer on a Sunday outside of 3 cities.
Okay.
It is legal to sell at the breweries and the distilleries on Sunday. So,
interesting. So you can't go to a liquor store on Sunday still?
No, blue law stops it. So no liquor stores on Sunday or Christmas because Jesus didn't drink. So
yeah,
which is weird. But Easter. Well, Easter's on Sunday. Thanks. Nice try. The growth has been pretty hardcore over the last 10 years. They just started popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a booming business here.
Was that was a law when we were kids, right? In Maryland, that you couldn't liquor stores weren't open on Sunday, or was it county by county maybe?
It's kind
I
of
think
like
it's county by county. I know in Anne Arundel County, if you have a bar stool in your establishment, you're allowed to sell on Sunday.
yeah, you can still sell package. Yeah,
And like in Arbutus, the center court was open because they had a bar next to the liquor store. So my family would go down and get drunk at the center court on Sundays when we didn't have football.
Yeah, and I think they can't sell it, or I think when we were growing up, they sold it after 12 afternoon on Sundays.
They couldn't sell it early in the morning or something like that.
Okay. I think that's what it was. I can't remember though.
Yeah,
I know, like out in Garrett County, where Deep Creek Lake is, like you can't drink on Sunday. You can drink at a bar on Sundays, but you can't drink unless you order food.
Yeah, that's
So
weird.
fucking dumb.
weird
Dude.
rules.
No,
People would just buy like a side of French fries and then order a beer.
Oh yeah.
yeah, we have all those private clubs here that can sell on Sunday, and you can buy in the restaurant. So it really does no good, because if you want to go drinking, you're just going to go out to the bar and still drive drunk. I mean, before COVID, you could go through the liquor store drive-through here, get a cup of ice with your pint of Jack Daniels, and they say, "Have a nice day."
Shit.
I like that.
I remember during COVID when you had to buy food to sit at the bar. That was like one of the laws during COVID. You had to buy food to sit at the bar. People were just selling bags of chips for like 10 cents and just keeping everything else the same price, just so people could just sit there and have some drinks. But yeah, anyway, we've lived through some weird times, I guess. But yeah, anyway, Joe, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you, man.
Glad you had a good birthday, man.
Enjoy the weather out there in Arkansas, and go Hogs.
Brian, pick up those tears off the ground. You've been crying all day.
Oh no!
I mean, I know it's bad. The Orioles are bad, but don't join the toxic group. Just let's keep it positive.
You got to let us know. Let us know when you're coming in town. You got my phone number, so just shoot me a text. You're coming to town.
Yeah. After schedule release, I'll probably talk to Dad and see when we can work something out. Kill two birds with one stone. Come see an O's game and a Ravens game. So
good deal. I'll get tickets for us. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
good day to be a hat.
Hell yeah. That's Arkansas Joe. Go check him out on social, and we'll have him on next week as well. He's always one of our best guests. So thanks, Joe. We really appreciate it, man.
See you, buddy.
See you later.
And that is Arkansas Joe. Like I said, go check him out on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can get his stuff. He's a funny guy. And he is one of our biggest supporters on this show, so we really love supporting him as well. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we go off air here? We didn't talk about Scotty Scheffler tying the PGA scoring record last week at -31. I know we kind of got handcuffed and had to go off air quickly. That was pretty cool.
I mean, what do they do with these golf courses now? These guys are hitting the ball so damn long. Look, I'm telling you right now, this is going to occur in the next couple of years. Tournaments are going to have their own golf ball.
They're rolling back. They're rolling back the golf ball next year, the year after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is against what Tiger Woods thinks. Tiger Woods is what is for what he calls bifurcation, and there's a lot of people like that in the sport.
What does that mean?
It's that professionals and amateurs shouldn't be limited to the same equipment. He says that professionals should have to live by a standard of equipment that doesn't go above a certain level of performance. So for balls that can't reach as much spin, or clubs that can't create as much impact, whatever. He thinks that pros should be limited. He thinks that amateurs should be able to play whatever they want.
Whatever the hell they want. Yeah.
And I honestly think that makes a lot more sense, because he says, basically, if you listen to his argument, if they roll back the golf ball for everyone, then it's going to discourage amateurs from wanting to play golf, because if I lose 20 yards on my 7-iron, it doesn't matter. If a pro it matters. It matters hugely. If a pro loses 20 yards, he can figure out a way to work something else out. You know what I mean? So
it becomes not as fun for your everyday player, and then you're just going to lose. You're going to lose interest.
Yeah. So
I agree with that.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of frustrating for, like amateur golfers if they actually do this. And I think at some point they'll reach sort of more of bifurcation is the word that he uses. I don't, like I said, I don't know exactly what that word means, but it basically just means pros and amateurs should be not playing the same. They shouldn't be limited to the same
He
equipment.
just wanted to show off he went to Stanford and use a big word.
Well, you know how Tiger is. He's a very articulate guy.
Is this Monahan again? Does this give me another reason to be pissed at Monahan?
No, I think this was a USGA thing, and I think everyone kind of just follows basically whatever they say. So I think the PGA of America kind of follows what they say. And
you got a new enemy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, that's been 31 under for Scotty Scheffler is ridiculous. There was a guy I listened to a podcast called Fairway Rollin', and it's a Ringer podcast, but one of the guys that hosts the show, his name's Nathan Hubbard. His brother Mark is on the PGA Tour. Mark Hubbard. He came in 5th in that tournament, and he lost. Mark Hubbard. He lost to Scotty Scheffler by 14 shots, and he came in 5th. He shot 17 under.
Dude. Holy shit! That's like an adult playing against kids.
I know.
He lost by 14 shots, came in
Holy
5th.
shit.
So that just tells you how much Scotty went out and just fucking destroyed that golf course.
And on that topic, I hope the BMW is being held again. The BMW Championship is being held again this year at Caves Valley. And the last time they played it at Caves, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. I mean, they carved that course up, and it was like 27 under.
Cantlay and DeChambeau had like a 5-hole playoff there. It was fucking crazy. They had to keep going and playing these holes back and forth against each other. But I think the final score that they tied at was like, it was 25 or 26 under or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, look, these golf courses are just getting too easy. 31 under is fucking ridiculous.
That's crazy. It's crazy. And to Foul Ball Talks question, 79. I got 79 wins for the Orioles.
Wow, you think of the big season turnaround, huh?
There's gonna be a spurt where they hit they win like 10 out of 12, and then
I don't know. I honestly, at this point, like if we get to 75, I'd be pretty surprised. This team's bad. Brooks,
I hate you guys.
I want to be happy, but this team isn't very good. They're just not.
I agree.
I told you the hot dogs outside of Pickles were delicious. That's the best thing I've seen this year from the Orioles.
Give me
pretty vendor.
Give me 83.
83. All right.
1 game above 500 or 2 games above 500.
2 games.
2 games above 500.
Yeah, math is fun.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, it's I'm still hopeful they can make the playoffs. I still think they can turn it around, but yeah. They haven't given us much happiness here or much inclination that it's going to happen anytime soon. So
I'm gonna lighten up the mood a little bit here. I did read on Pro Football Talk the other day that Baltimore and the Maryland Stadium Authority is making a push to get the NFL draft here in Baltimore.
They're doing it in DC, right?
Yeah,
we didn't talk about this.
It came out like 2 days ago, I think, on Pro Football Talk that the Maryland Stadium Authority, so the Baltimore, they'd hold it downtown in the Inner Harbor for sure. They want to get it in like 2029 or something like that.
Yeah, because it's Pittsburgh next year, and then DC, and then I don't think they've announced after that.
It's an explore, Joe.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of dreaming there, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, I think you still might be drunk from your birthday, buddy.
I mean, this was no lightweight beer. I mean, this was a 7.8.
What is that? Is that Sun King?
Nah, Goose Island.
Goose Island. I haven't seen that in forever. Out of Chicago. Anyway, though, just to wrap up golf, because I know we're kind of bouncing around here as we finish the show. A lot of really cool things happening in golf world. Obviously, Rory McIlroy wins the Masters, completes his Grand Slam, and he goes into the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, where he's played really well before. Justin Thomas just wins at RBC Heritage at Harbor Town. That's his last tournament he played in before this week. Scotty Scheffler just went 31 under nuclear at fucking TPC Cattle Ranch, as they call it, and just destroyed the field. So he's getting back into form. Jordan Spieth in that same tournament finished in 3rd, by the way, in his last 4 tournaments. Jordan Spieth hasn't finished outside of the top 15. And if he wins the PGA Championship, he will complete his career Grand Slam. And all of a sudden, once again, Xander Schauffele, who's the defending champion at this tournament, nobody gives a shit about because he's still coming off the injury. I think there's a lot of really, really interesting things coming in golf. And I didn't even mention Bryson DeChambeau just won the last LIV tournament. John Rahm has played in 19 LIV tournaments and has never come outside of the top 10, which is fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of really, really awesome storylines in golf, especially coming into this week at a brand new course that we've never seen before. That's supposed to be an old school classic kind of design. And we have next week at Quail Hollow where we're going to see the second major of the year. So golf is really in a good spot in the next couple of weeks. And they got a huge bump from the ratings based on last year. But anyway, that's my rant on golf. Let's wrap up. We're going a little longer than I think we need to because we're talking about nothing right now.
Yeah, and I think Tim, I think this is doable. I mean, does it look like it right now? No, but I mean, if we see a drastic turnaround, I mean, go back to the beginning of last season. It certainly is doable. Are my hopes high at the moment? No, but I'm also going to keep holding out hope because it's May 8th, and I'm going to stay positive. I'm not going to be one of these.
I'm a curmudgeon. I'm an angry elf, dude. All right,
well,
and Joe, you can
I'm
suck
frustrated
my tears,
too.
all right?
I'm frustrated too, man, and I've voiced it, but I'm trying to keep it in right now because I mean we can see this team turn around really quickly.
Yeah,
and then we all look like assholes, but it's also they look like assholes right now. So
yeah, they do. And I have a question about Tim's photo.
Oh yeah, he's got a beautiful mustache.
Well, no, does he have a trash can, an Orioles trash can on his shirt?
No, that's Adley.
The catcher.
That's Adley.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like how we're all leaning into our like.
Everybody got just got a nice view of our noses.
I know.
Any boogies?
Oh, it's James McCann.
Okay.
Okay.
Love that. Right. James McCann. Okay, cool.
I know. I think Tim's dog is named Adley.
Okay.
Okay.
And I say this all the time. I really, really, for when I get married, I want the Orioles. This is the content we all love.
I agree.
I really want one of those Orioles trash cans that have the helmet. I want to turn it into either a kegerator or an ice cream machine. You know, just that's all I want to do.
I think. I mean, why don't you just buy one?
Can you? I didn't even know if you could. I'd look it up, but
I mean, I don't see why not. Right?
We'll talk to some of our people. We'll see if
we got
you got a trash can guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
Kreisig.
know. I don't get Kreisig. What are the odds you can grant that trash can for us?
Yeah, Kreisig called me during the podcast. I got to call him back when we get off here. So
he's probably like, after that show, I'm definitely not letting you guys do the show at Camden Yards.
I know. So
little teaser, June 10th or June 11th. June 10th for sure. We'll either be doing it from the Dive. It's literally called the Dive in Canton. If you're not familiar with it, I'm sure most people are, if not everybody is. But it's called the Dive. It's not a dive bar. It's the Dive in Canton. And what street's that on, Brian?
It's on the corner of Elliott and I believe Decker. But I could be wrong with that. Or no, Elliott and Southeast, I believe. Elliott and Southeast.
So we're going to do a live show from there. We're potentially trying to do one from Camden Yards. We'll see if that comes through. Kreisig.
Ryan Kreisig.
So we're going to get some stuff, and the boys will be together June 10th, June 11th, 12th, that time frame in the Baltimore area. So anybody watching that's in the area, I'd love to get together with you. Love to show you the club. Bobby, we're gonna have to show Bobby the club. I can't. That seems right up Bobby's alley, actually.
Yeah, I'll have to get his phone number and just shoot him a text, and him and I can come hang out and have a couple beers.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, guys.
Right.
What else you guys got going on today, this weekend?
Well, I gotta work.
I'm not gonna talk to you guys for a couple days.
Yeah.
Oh, get ready, boys. I'm guest bartending this Saturday at the Speakeasy. Haven't been there in a decade.
Are you really? Are you gonna play Chopped? Are you gonna play Chopped at 5?
Why not?
Chopped. Remember Chopped? What was it? Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
Yeah, Chopped Tuesdays. I used to play ESPN 30 for 30s and just shut down the bar. People come in and be like, don't bother. See you.
If you guys aren't familiar, Brian used to work at this bar called the Speakeasy in Canton, where he's obviously going to be working this Saturday. And whatever day of the week it was, Chopped was always on for like an hour and a half on the Food Network.
Right.
And he had a group of like 5 people that would come in every day to just watch 3 episodes of Chopped and sit at the bar.
5 older women. Yeah, 5 women with AARP cards just watching Chopped. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
I remember walking in being like, fuck, it's Chopped day. Like,
It's Chopped.
But yeah, the owner who also owns Mountain Branch Golf Course right here, he goes, "Hey, would you mind bartending this coming Saturday? Everyone's out of town." I'm like, "Sure, I got no problem doing it." So I just text people. People are like, "Oh my god, it's like a meteor and a comet hitting in midair. It's going to be absolutely diabolical."
Are you by yourself there?
No, I'm going to have another young lady bartending with me.
Okay.
nice. There you go. For me, this weekend is work. The time of the year where I had 3 days off a week is over. The time of the year where I have 1 day off a week is here.
Welcome.
Unfortunately, it came really quick this year. But yeah, we got Mother's Day weekend this weekend, and then we got the music festival next weekend. Boardwalk Rock, Def Leppard, and Alice in Chains, and a bunch of heavy metal ish kind of heavier rock bands are going to be playing. And it's probably going to bring down a whole lot of people that I'm really excited to serve. So I'm really pumped about that, especially on the boardwalk. And then after that, we got Memorial Day, and we're in it, man.
Yeah, man.
So we're down to 1 day off a week now, and it's gonna be the schedule's gonna be starting to get a little tighter here, but we're gonna make time because we got to hang out with our friends here. So
hell yeah. Well, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I know we're signing off, and I got to go to work here in a minute, but happy Mother's Day to all the moms. And this coming Sunday, right? Or it is next Sunday?
Coming Sunday.
This Sunday, Brian. Don't fuck this up.
Oh, no, I can't. My mom's going to the cabin, our property out in West Virginia. So my Mother's Day is delayed.
Well, there you go. Just at least give her a call. Go out there, give your mother a call. Don't forget. And anyone who helped raise you, your friend's mom, whatever, shoot them a text or something like that. They always like to hear. I know my mom gets a text from a couple of Brooks's buddies, a couple of my buddies every Mother's Day, and she always loves hearing that. So that makes her day a little bit better. I appreciate, if my friends can do that, I can do that for some of my friends as well.
And also I'm going to Hard Yacht Cafe with my dad. My dad wants to go have a beer with my uncle's favorite watering hole. My uncle passed away. We're going to on Saturday day. We're going to the Hard Yacht Cafe. And the last time I went to the Hard Yacht Cafe, I hit someone's mailbox when leaving. So that's not good.
With a vehicle or a fist?
With a vehicle.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, it was our buddy. His name's Jim Getzinger. Jim Getzinger lives by the Hard Yacht, and I mistakenly hit his. I wasn't drunk or anything. It just I pick up something, and I hit his mailbox. So for Christmas last year, I bought him a mailbox.
Oh, nice.
That's what you could do with the Orioles trash can. You can make a mailbox out of it.
Yeah, how about that?
Ooh.
It could be a suggestion box. Fucking win a game. How about that?
We can see if we can fit the whole team into it. All right.
All right, guys. I'll see you.
Going off the rails. We'll see y'all.